Hello my dear students, I welcome you to the NEET world. So today we will be discussing about molecular orbital theory. So in the last lecture we have discussed about hybridization and shapes of the molecules using valency shell electron pair repulsion theory. So these two videos are highly helpful for your exam point of view. Okay, so from chemical bonding you must focus from hybridization, shape of the molecules, and the next thing is molecular orbital theory, that is the applications. We have finding bond order, bond strength, bond length and their orders, and also magnetic nature and also magnetic moment calculations. These are the things you must focus from chemical bonding. Okay, so today we will be discussing about molecular orbital theory. So what is the main aim of this molecular orbital theory? See, when we consider atoms, we know atoms have atomic orbitals, right? Atoms have atomic orbitals. So these atomic orbitals having different energy levels. It means, for example, what are the atomic orbitals? We know 1s, like 1s, 2s, 2p, like this, like 3s, 3p, 3d. We are writing like this, no? Atomic orbitals. So now these atomic orbitals for a multi-electron system, the energy will be different. For example, 3d will be having highest energy here. Like if we write the energy order, so we will be writing something like this, right? I mean 1s will be having lower energy than 2s. How do we calculate this energy order for a multi-electron system? For each atomic orbital will be following n plus L rule. So this thing we will be learning in the structure of atom, right? So here n is 1, L will be 0. Here n is 2 and L will be 0. So the overall value will be more for this. Therefore its energy is high. So this is how we are doing about atomic orbitals. Now when it comes to molecular orbitals also, the molecule, like in order to explain about molecule, so molecule will be also having similar to atoms, molecule will be also having molecular orbitals. So these molecular orbitals will also having different energy levels. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the energy levels of these molecular orbitals. And then next, atomic orbitals are having their specific shape. For example, s orbital will be having spherical shape, p orbital will be having dumbbell shape. Similar to that, molecular orbitals are also having different shapes. Okay, so those things are discussed under this particular topic. And while filling the electrons in atomic orbital, while writing the electronic configuration of each element, we will use to follow some basic rules, right? Like Pauli's exclusion principle, Hofbauer principle, and the next Hund's rule. So similarly, you need to follow these rules while filling the electrons in molecular orbitals also. Okay, I hope this basic idea is clear. Let us look into it very clearly. Okay, so here molecular orbital theory. See, when we consider atoms and molecules are completely different from the respective atoms. Okay, see, while atoms are monocentric but molecules are polycentric. Okay, thus that information whatever you require I have provided in these slides. Okay, here the main what are the main main points you should know about this theory, like molecular orbital theory. In the short form, let us say molecular orbital theory as MOT and valency bond theory as VBT. See, in just like VBT, in valency bond theory we have considered atomic orbitals and then overlapping of those atomic orbitals, right? And then next we have discussed about hybridization. There also we have considered valency atomic orbitals of each atom of a particular molecule which undergoes hybridization, like overlapping and form respective molecule. But when it comes to this molecular orbital theory, all the atomic orbitals, not just valency atomic orbitals of a particular atom, but all the atomic orbitals of that particular atom will undergo overlapping and form respective molecular orbitals. See, but atomic orbitals of one atom, it means, for example, for formation of oxygen molecule, let us say from its respective atoms. So there are two oxygen atoms here I am taking and we are getting oxygen molecule. For formation of this oxygen molecule, the atomic orbitals of two atoms, like oxygen atoms, will overlap. One atom, atomic orbitals of one atom overlap with the atomic orbitals of the other atom to form entirely new set of orbitals. Those are considered as called as molecular orbitals. Now these, we have two atoms and they have their respective atomic orbitals that will overlap to form a molecule and respective molecular orbitals. I hope this is also clear. Okay, now here for example, when see here we know what is the electronic configuration for oxygen. We are writing like 1s, 2s, like 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2p4. Similarly for this also 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. We are writing like this now. So now the orbitals which are having comparable energies are similar energies. For example, here 1s atomic orbital and here also 1s atomic orbital will be having same energies, right? So now these will overlap to form molecular orbitals. So those atomic orbitals which are having comparable energies will overlap to form molecular orbitals. So 1s atomic orbital to overlap to form molecular orbitals. So here when two atomic orbitals are overlapping, we will be getting two molecular orbitals. So what I am saying, if n atomic orbitals are overlaps, so then I can say if n atomic orbitals are combining, then that will be giving us n molecular orbitals. Okay, so here two atomic orbitals are combining, then we can expect two molecular orbitals. Those molecular orbitals are called as, one is bonding molecular orbital, I am writing in the short form BMO, bonding molecular orbital, and another one is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Here I am writing it as ABMO. So what are the two molecular orbitals? One is bonding molecular orbital, another one is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so if four atomic orbitals are combined, we will be expecting four molecular orbitals. It means n atomic orbitals will results to give n molecular orbitals. I hope this is clear. We will look further. Okay. So now here, so what are the important features of molecular orbital theory? So we have discussed about this. Okay, fine. Okay, now the valency electrons of constituent atoms are considered to be moving. See, when we consider atom, the electrons around the atom will be there. Now when we are considering about molecule, it means in atom the electrons revolve around the nucleus, right? One nucleus only in the atom, because we have only one nucleus. But when it comes to molecule, there will be two or more than two nucleus depending upon the number of atoms in that molecule. So these electrons, whatever the electrons present in complete molecule, whether it is coming from single atom or multiple atoms, like if we have more than one atom, it must be electrons must be from all those atoms, right? So these electrons will be like surrounded by surrounds around the all the nucleus present in that particular molecule. Okay, so that is what I have mentioned here. You can study that. Okay, now see, similar to atomic orbitals, molecular orbitals also possess different energy levels. Okay, we discussed about this point, and the shape of a molecular orbitals depend upon the shapes of the atomic orbitals. Okay, so we know atomic orbitals will be having different shapes. So these different shapes like atomic orbitals now decide the shapes of the molecular orbitals. Okay, so now, okay, so we discussed about, see, number of molecular orbitals formed is equals to number of atomic orbitals combined. Okay, similarly, and this while filling the electrons in molecular orbitals, we should follow Hofbauer principle and Hund's rule and Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay, so what are the conditions, like conditions for atomic orbitals to form molecular orbital? So what I told you, in order to combine two atomic orbitals to results a molecular molecular set of molecular orbitals, that should have comparable energies first. Okay, what it should be there? Comparable energies. Then next, the combining atoms atomic orbital must overlap to a greater extent or to a large extent. Then see, greater the extent of overlapping, more will be the stability of that particular bond or for that particular molecule. Okay, so here greater the overlap, stable is the molecule. Okay, so the next, so in order to explain how these atomic orbitals are combining, so we have a method called linear combination of atomic orbitals. So this is a quantum approach, quantum superposition we can say. So here, so this is explained as LCAO method. So what is mean by LCAO? Linear combination of atomic orbitals. So here what is like linear combination of atomic orbitals? So let us say we know atomic orbital. Like orbital is nothing but it is a probability density, like finding the probability of electron around the nucleus where we have a maximum probability, right? So here let us indicate atomic orbital as a wave, like a wave like this. Okay, so this is a one atomic orbital. So this wave function let us indicate with psi a. For atom A, with capital A I am representing, this is atom A, I am representing atomic orbital like this. Similarly for atom B, let us represent another atomic orbital. For atom B, let us say psi B I am representing here. Psi A is one atom, psi B is another atom, atomic orbitals for example. So this is the wave for, this is the orbital representation for atom B. Now we know, we have studied in physics, like in the waves chapter, we know like constructive interference and destructive interference. If these two orbital like lobes will superimpose on each other, so if we merge this, if this lobe like this crust and this crust like positive crust are superimpose, so we can say it will be resulting into constructive interference. And if this opposite sign lobes if they superimpose, then we can say it as destructive interference. So this constructive interference will results to give a wave, the resultant wave we will be having higher amplitude. So it will be higher amplitude, like we can expect with a bigger amplitude when it is a constructive interference. So for this I have mentioned here this one. See, let us say this is the crust of a wave. So we know we are representing wave like this. So this is positive, let us say this is negative. So now the crust of one wave and the crust of another wave, it means this is one atomic orbital, let us say, and this is the second atomic orbital, I mean another atomic orbital of second atom. So both are having constructive interference to give a wave with resultant wave with a bigger amplitude. So we can say this is constructive interference, additive overlap will results to give a bigger amplitude, and the resulting orbital will be called as bonding molecular orbital. What I am saying, the additive overlap will give us bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so now see, when oneness, let us consider this is oneness atomic orbital of one atom, this is a second and oneness orbital of the other atom. So these both are combining to give us a molecular orbital like this. See, the electron density is now distributed around these two nucleus, we can say. Okay, so this is about what? Constructive interference. Okay, so this should be indicated as psi A for one atom plus psi B for another atom, like atom A is psi A, for atom B it is psi B. Then this will be resulting orbital, we will be considering it as molecular orbital. Let us indicate with psi bonding. Okay, now this is about bonding orbital. So now let us go for another one. Now see, this is what I explained about bonding molecular orbital. See, we are getting sigma 1s. So I will explain about this once again. See, what about anti-bonding here? Yeah. Yeah. So now tell me what I told you. Here when the both crusts are superimposing or interference is constructive, then we will be expecting bonding. If there is a destructive interference, it means the one atomic orbital crust and other atomic orbital trough are superimposing. So what happens? The resultant amplitude will be reduced, the resultant wave will be having low electron density, and we can call it as what? Anti-bonding molecular orbital, and we can represent that as psi anti-bonding, and we can represent it as psi A minus psi B. So this is for bonding and this is for anti-bonding. This is what I have mentioned in these two slides. Like psi A means bonding molecular orbital. So here for bonding you can represent, see, both I have concluded it as psi molecular orbitals. What are the molecular orbitals possible? When two atomic orbitals combine, we will be getting two molecular orbitals. One is bonding, another one is anti-bonding. So for example, if I write for bonding psi A plus psi b. This is for bonding if we consider, and for anti-bonding psi a minus psi b. Both together we can represent it like this. Okay. So here this is about molecular orbital representation. Okay. This is about constructive interference. Okay. Okay, so here just look here. So when we have a constructive interference, we will be getting a lobe with 0 nodes. For example, let us say here we have, this is the crust of one lobe, crust of one atomic orbital, and other one we can take one more crust for another atomic orbital, which I have represented here. See, this is the crust of one atom, like 1s atomic orbital, and this is the crust of second, like another 1s atomic orbital of second atom. So now when they when they undergo constructive interference, we will be getting, since both of them have like same crust, same sign, like positive positive, constructive interference results to give the wave with a bigger amplitude, with a resultant amplitude, right? So this will be giving us like, see, when these two atomic orbitals like psi plus and plus will undergoes, we'll be expecting something like a bigger lobe, something like this. Okay. Now if they are undergoing subtractive overlapping or destructive overlapping or destructive interference, so we can say that will be having amplitude with 0 amplitude or 0. I will show you, wait. This is additive, this is subtractive, I am saying. So now we will be having something like this. Yeah. See here, between two atomic orbitals, when we are taking this as a destructive interference, so we are getting a nodal point over here. What do we mean by nodal point or nodal plane? The probability of finding electron density is 0. Now here it is becoming maximum, but here we got a point where probability of finding electron density is 0. So this will be giving more repulsive interaction. Therefore anti-bonding orbital energy is always higher than the bonding molecular orbital energy. So once again, bonding molecular orbital energy is lower because it is more stable. Okay, and anti-bonding molecular energy is less, anti-bonding molecular energy is more because it is less stable. Okay. So now if someone asks you for the energy order, so energy order of molecular bonding molecular orbital will be lesser than atomic orbitals, and which is further lesser than anti-bonding molecular orbital. So which is having high energy, anti-bonding molecular orbitals will be having high energy than these atomic orbitals, and atomic orbitals will be having higher energy than bonding molecular orbitals. So which is more stable? It means the lower the energy, higher will be the stability. What I am saying, lower energy, more is the stability, more stability. So which is more stable orbital here? Stability. Which is more stable orbital here? Bonding molecular orbital will be more stable when we compare with the atomic orbitals. Okay. So here, so if I consider atomic orbital of 1s atomic orbital for one atom A, let us say, and for atom B, let us say one more atomic orbital for atom B. Now when these undergoing intermixing or overlapping, so we will be getting two molecular orbitals, one is bonding, another one is anti-bonding. So bonding can be results when we have constructive interference. Now what I told you, energy for bonding will be lesser than atomic orbitals, and which is lesser than anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So that's why we got here at the down I have represented molecular orbital, and here see there is a nodal plane here. So you are observing here one nodal plane is there. This is a nodal plane, okay, which is erased because of subtractive interference. Okay, so we can represent this as anti-bonding. So now here for every atomic orbital, so let us say I have a molecule, let us say oxygen atoms are there. So in order to form oxygen molecule, for we require 2 oxygen atoms, right? So for each oxygen atom we have 1s atomic orbital, here also we have 1s atomic orbital. Then next we have 2s atomic orbital, here also we have 2s atomic orbital. For this atom again we have 2p, again here also 2p. Like this we have different atomic orbitals. Now when these 1s and 1s of each atomic orbitals are overlapping, then we can expect how many molecular orbital? See, 1s, 1s. So this is one, this is another one. So we have total 2, therefore we may expect 2 molecular orbital. What are those? One is sigma bonding, I mean you should say bonding molecular orbital, another one is anti-bonding molecular orbital, and these are resulting to form a sigma bond first. Okay, then we can say sigma bonding, that is what sigma 1s, and respect to anti-bonding should be written as sigma star 1s. So this will be bonding and star represents for anti-bonding. Okay, so these are the two, one is bonding, another one is anti-bonding. So now we know while filling the electrons we will be following, we should first fill the lower energy, then we have to go for the higher energy levels. So always fill the electrons in lower energy first. So what is our lower energy orbital? So bonding molecular will be lower energy, therefore you should fill the electrons in the first lower energy, then after filling here you can go to the higher energy. When there are degenerate orbitals you should fill with the equal amounts of electrons in each of those degenerate orbitals. We will be looking into it now. Okay. So now energy level diagram for molecular orbitals. So just now we discussed when for a particular molecule the respective atoms will be there, those respective atoms will be having some atomic orbitals that will be combining. Let us say both atomic orbitals are having 1s and 1s, therefore when they are combining we will be getting sigma 1s and respective anti-bonding as sigma star 1s. And similarly when we have 2s, that will be sigma 2s. See here we have oxygen, right? For this it will be having 2s and 2s. So when these are combining we will be getting sigma 2s and sigma star 2s, right? So we are writing here sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Then next here we have p, 2p. So how many p orbitals are there in total? We have totally 3 p orbitals. What are those 3 p atomic orbitals? Px, py and pz. Here also px, py, pz. So now these will combine to form different atomic orbital, molecular orbitals. Now for example, so along the axis, let us say along the internuclear axis we have z axis, let us say. So this will be resulting to form sigma 2px. This is a bonding, and what is the respective anti-bonding? We have sigma star 2px. So I am writing it separately here just for some time, let us say. Okay, now what are the other atomic orbitals we have? Totally we have px, py and pz, right? So out of this I am saying z as the internuclear axis. Which orbital has internuclear axis? Z. Therefore sigma bond is formed along the axis, therefore you can say pz, here also pz, sigma respect to sigma bond and its respective anti-bonding sigma bond. Okay, next after forming sigma bond we may expect for pi bond formation, therefore other two atomic orbitals are there na, those will be combining to form respective pi bonds like pi, 2p, x and c. Both of them are degenerate orbital, therefore they will be having equal energies. So both of them have equal probability to combine or to overlap to give respective molecular orbital, therefore this will be having equal energies and we can say them as degenerate orbitals like this. Now what are the respective anti-bonding orbitals? Like we can write it as pi star 2px, which is equals to pi star 2py. Okay, so after writing this we have to write pi star, okay, like this. So now when we compare the energies, so 1s, between 1s and 2s, always bonding will be having lower energy than the anti-bonding, as we discussed in the last slide, okay, by looking at the structures, I mean orbital energy diagrams like this. Now for 1s and 2s, which will be having more? For 2s it will be more. Now for between bonding, anti-bonding, always anti-bonding. Again, then what about this sigma 1s and star? So here it will be having more. Now what about this? Here also it will be having like this. Okay, now the amount which is like, see here, whatever the amount which is lower, the same amount will be more for this particular and respective anti-bonding. See what I mean to say is, look here, see, we know like sigma bonding will be in lower energy, I just told you, then same amount of energy will be high for it. It means whatever the depth it is having, same amount of height will be there, I mean same amount of energy will be there in the for respective anti-bonding. Therefore sigma star will be having more energy than the pi star. That's why I am writing it like this, okay. I hope this is clear how to write. Always write first bonding, then respective anti-bonding, and here first write bonding for p orbitals, then you can write anti-bonding, okay. So this energy order you should remember, okay, and this energy order will be valid when total electrons are more than 14. So more than 14 means what does it mean? For example, if I say oxygen molecule, how many electrons are there in total? So it will be having, oxygen atom means 8 electrons, but molecule means twice of it, so we can say 16 electrons, right? So when I say NO molecule, so what is this NO? So nitrogen having 7 plus 8, so we can say it will be how much? 15 electrons. So in this case we should follow this type of energy order, okay. Now if the total electrons are less than 14 or equal to 14, in that case we should follow different energy order, okay. So this is the energy order valid for what? When total electrons are more than 14, okay. If there are less than 14 electrons, this slide whatever we are discussing is very, very important for doing questions, okay. Now if total electrons are less than 14, then follow this order, then see, same like here, sigma 1s, then write sigma star 1s, the next sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. The next here we have sigma 2px now, so just make it like this, pi 2px which is equals to pi 2pz 2py, and then next write sigma 2pz, and next respective anti-bonding pi star 2px equals to pi star 2py, the next sigma 2pz, sigma star 2pz. So what is the change we are seeing here? So whatever I have written with a white color pen here, that will be the difference, I mean this is the only difference you should remember here. So this is the only difference you should remember, okay, when we compare with the above one, okay. So it means what is the energy order for this? It will be like this. So here equal sign indicates it is degenerate orbitals. What is that? It is degenerate orbitals. So let us take some examples and we will discuss about this, okay. So now this is what we have to represent in orbital diagram manner, and it will be helpful for your board preparation, not in the exam, not in the like normal competitive exams. So generally they may ask this question, see, so they may ask what type of orbital representation it is, like they may give something like this. So like this. So what type of orbital it is, from where it is formed? So this is formed from like by taking two p orbitals, two p atomic orbitals like this, if they undergoes additive overlap or constructive interference, so we will be getting, see, both are having same signs now. We already discussed about concept of orbital overlapping, there also we discussed. So when they have same sign overlapping, that will results to give constructive interference with bigger amplitude. It means the sign of this lobe the amplitude of the lobe should be increased. So here it is small size, it is bigger, so it means this is undergoing head on overlapping, so which results to form, which is undergoing like axial overlapping, which results to form a sigma bond, right? So sigma bond from p orbital overlapping, right? So that's how you should identify this symbol. This orbital symbol is used to express that this orbital is formed from sigma 2pz overlapping, like that you should say. If it is anti-bonding, we will be getting like this, okay? Even orbital representation is also important. Okay, now see, that is about sigma bond formation. Now what about pi bond formation? So here let us say this is one p orbital, this is second p orbital. Now let us say this is py, this is also py, okay, 2py. Now here plus sign, here also plus, minus, let us say. So now when they are going under constructive interference, see, both are having same signs above side. Now this will be overlapping to give, like parallel overlap to give a pi bond formation here also. Now when they are undergoing overlapping, so we may expect, see, this is the internuclear axis, okay, this is the internuclear axis I am writing. So here we will be getting something like this, and downside something like this. So this you can write minus plus. So this is nothing but pi bond formation, okay, pi orbital formation. So here, okay, so this is what the pi bonding molecular orbital, so which I have written here, similar one. And now consider, if these lobes are not in this fashion, let us take them in the different manner. See, I have represented plus minus symbols, here they represented with the different colors. Let us consider this light violet color indicates some positive sign, and this down color indicates negative sign, and consider like that, okay. So this is same as what we written over here, these are same. So this is about bonding. Now what about anti-bonding case? So let us say I am taking atomic orbital like this, one atomic orbital, and second atomic orbital like this, and here positive, here negative, and instead of taking same lobe, here I am taking negative, and here I am taking a positive and negative. So here when they undergoes like overlapping, so what we can say, since both are having different signs, it will be resulting to give destructive interference. They will be repel like each other, and we will be getting, see, this is the internuclear axis for both atoms, both atomic orbitals. So now see, this is positive, this is negative, so this will not undergo constructive interference because both lobe signs are different. We will be getting something a destructive interference like this. So this is the atomic orbital here which we have represented, and this is one more, can say like this, okay. Here it is plus, and here it is minus, here it is minus, here it is plus, like that we have to understand, okay. So this, see, this one is like this, you can understand it, okay. So now how many nodal planes we have? This is one nodal plane we have, this is the one nodal plane we have, and the second nodal plane is like this, okay. Therefore we can consider this is for anti-bonding molecular orbital, pi star anti-bonding, pi anti-bonding, or I can say pi star orbital, molecular orbital, okay. It is also clear. Now we have to discuss more about examples that will give more confidence in the exam, okay. See, we have written this for molecular orbital for electron, if the elements having, like molecules having less than 14 electrons and more than 14 electrons, right. So here let us discuss here about this thing. So for example, I have the first one, let us say oxygen molecule itself. This is the first example. How do we do this? So for oxygen we have two oxygen atoms, each will be having 8 electrons. So each will be having 8 electrons. In total we have 16 electrons. So these 16 electrons should be filled in the respective molecular orbitals. So what are the respective molecular orbitals we have for these? Sigma 1s. See, here I have represented, see, this is one atomic orbital, like one atom's atomic orbitals, and this side is for another atomic orbital, so you have to fill, okay. So here from sigma, like oneness from each atoms, oneness atomic orbitals are there now. So I will combine to give respective molecular orbitals as sigma oneness and sigma star oneness. Then next sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Then next what we have, these are more than 14 electrons, right? So it means we should follow total 16 means it is more than 14, therefore you should follow this order: sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Then next sigma 2pz, then sigma 2, then next after sigma bond we have pi 2px equals to pi 2py. Then next pi star 2p x equals to pi star 2py, which is having lesser energy than sigma star 2pz. Like this we should write. Now total how many electrons are there? 16 electrons are there. So what is the energy order for these? This is the energy order, right? This is the energy order. Now by following those three rules, Haber principle, Hund's rule and Pauli's exclusion principle, we have to fill the electrons. So first you have to fill the total electrons starting from the lower energy state, that is here sigma 1s. We can fill maximum of 2 electrons with the opposite spin. So I am filling here 2 electrons first. So 2 electrons here. Then next here also 2 electrons we can fill. So each atomic orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons like this. So here also 2. So here also 2. So how many in total? We have 16. How many over? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Next 11. See, these are degenerate orbitals. You should fill in such a way like you should give same number of equal priority to the both atom like molecular orbitals. So one here, second one here, third one here, fourth one here. Like that we can fill here total of 2, 2. So it means out of 16 electrons we can give 2 to here and here. So I can write with this, yeah, 2 here and 2 here. Okay, then next how many over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 over. See, the 15th electron should be here. 15th electron should be here because that is the next higher energy state here, and 16 should be given here but not here because these are degenerated state, equal energy state. So you should fill with one electron only. I hope this is also clear. Okay, now tell me number of bonding molecular orbital electrons. See, number of electrons in bonding molecular orbital is equals to, just count this bonding. What are the bonding molecular orbitals? Here we have this one. See, here I am highlighting 1, 2, 3, these 2, like just count them: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So total how many electrons are there? 10 electrons in bonding molecular orbital. So the next number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital, just tell me how many are there. So your 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 5, 6. Total 6 electrons are there here. So I hope it is clear how to find number of bonding electrons and number of anti-bonding electrons also. Okay, so you should do like this after doing this. Okay, if they are asking to show this in the like diagrammatical manner, means you should fill these electrons in these orbitals. Like see, this 1s 2s atomic orbital will be having electrons like this for each oxygen. Now first you should fill the electrons in bonding because it is in lower energy. Then you should fill in the anti-bonding if you have any higher, like more electrons remaining. So like that. Similarly, you can fill here also. I hope this is also clear how to fill electrons in the molecular orbital diagrams. Okay. So now after doing this, after finding number of bonding electrons and anti-bonding electrons, you have to use a formula like bond order. Like this is the application of molecular orbital theory. So what is the first application? Finding bond order. What is the bond order of which molecule we are doing for? O2 molecule, right? So take O2 here. So what is the formula here? We have half into, in a bond we have 2 electrons, therefore I am taking it as half into number of bonding molecular orbital electrons, BMO electrons, minus number of anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons. Like this you should take. Now how many electrons are there in bonding molecular orbital? Half into, just here we have did now, so 10 minus 6, so how much it is? 4 by 2, it will be 2 electrons. 2 bond order is, bond order is 2. It means between two oxygen atoms, how many bonds are there? That is what the bond order. So what is the bond order we got? 2. It means between two oxygens there are 2 bonds like this. Okay, so what type of bonds these are? We should answer. Okay, so here, so anti-bonding orbital electrons are there, so this will be cancelling this, so therefore we have one sigma and one pi bond. Okay, so this is what we got. Now what is the magnetic nature? Magnetic nature, whether it is paramagnetic or diamagnetic. So how do we calculate, how do we consider that? So here, if in a molecule, if there is any unpaired electrons are present in the molecular orbitals, if there is any unpaired electrons are present, then you can consider it as paramagnetic compound. If there is zero unpaired electrons, or if there is no unpaired electrons are there, then consider it as diamagnetic. Now here we have 2 unpaired electrons, then we can say oxygen is, or O2 molecule is paramagnetic. So how many unpaired electrons are there? 2. Okay, so now how do we find magnetic nature? You can use magnetic nature formula, mu is equals to root over n into n plus 2 Bohr magnetons. This is the unit here we will be using. So n into n plus 2. So what do we mean by n here? So n means number of unpaired electrons. What is this n? Number of unpaired electrons. So you can use this and you will be getting the answer. So you will be getting around 2 into 2 plus 2. So you will be getting around 2.84 answer for this particular question. You can try. You can give a try. Okay. So this is about oxygen molecule. Okay. So here whatever the molecule you are giving, so you just need to write this and you have to fill in this if they ask for the diagrams, or you can directly find the bond order and you can say the answer like what is the bond order you got, and also if they ask for magnetic moment you have to do like this. Now this is what we generally use for theoretical understanding, like best conceptual understanding. Now let us use some tricks to solve the questions, because in the exam we don't have that much time to solve all these things, right? We just need some like simplest ways to solve the questions, right? So let us use this. Okay. So before using the tricks, I just want to give you one more clarity. If electrons are less than 14, how do we need to fill the electrons? So after doing this, we will use some tricks that will be highly helpful while solving the questions. Okay. So just let us say C2 molecule we have. See, if total electrons are less than or equal to 14, you should follow this, equal to 14. Okay, so equal to 14 electrons. So for example, in C2 molecule, if I say whether a molecule like C2 is existing or not, like a C2 molecule is existing or not, because we know O2 is existing, because just now we have seen there is a bond order with 2, so it means between two atoms there are 2 bonds, therefore the molecule is existing. So whether this C2 molecule is existing or not, we can like estimate, or we can determine using this molecular orbital theory, because let us say N2 we have. So N2 we have, so whether this N2 molecule is existing or not, we can theoretically understand from this molecular orbital theory just by following the theorem, like whatever the theory we have. Okay. Now here if the total electrons are equal to 14 or less than 14, for example in N2 molecule we have for nitrogen atom it is 7, so 2 nitrogen atoms, it means 2 into 7, 14, so it is having 14 electrons. If total electrons equal to 14 or less than 14, for example C2 molecule, how many electrons are there? 6, carbon atomic number is 6, therefore 2 atoms are there here, it means a molecule, it means 2 6 are 12. So total 12 electrons are there. Therefore, we need to do the following method. So first write sigma 1s, next sigma star 1s, next sigma 2s, then next sigma star 2s, then what? Pi 2p x equals to pi 2p y, then next sigma 2p z, next pi star 2p y equals to pi star 2p x less than, next sigma 2p z, sigma star 2p z. This is the way you have to, this is the order you have to follow. This is the energy order of these orbitals, like this, right? Now total how many electrons are there? 12 electrons are there, na? Just fill those 12 electrons following the energy order. So 2 electrons here, here also 2, 6 over, 8 over, the next 9th one like this, 10th one here, 11th one here, 12th one here. So totally all the total 12 electrons are filled here, so no need to require these orbitals to be filled because we don't have any extra electrons to fill here. So let us consider only up to here. So now these electrons you can fill here, like sigma 1s you have now, sigma 1s 2s you can fill them. The next 2s you have, how many 2 are there? You just put here 2 and here you can place 2, like that you have to fill. Here then go here, then we have pi here, how many? 2 electrons here, here also pi 2. The next sigma, if any electrons are there, fill here, if not just leave as such. I hope you got how to fill these orbitals also. Okay, now see here, for while finding bond order, I am just writing it as BO. BO means what? Bond order. What bond order says is number of bonds between two atoms in a molecule. Okay, between two carbon atoms, how many bonds are there? Like this, how many lines, that is what bonds are there, bond pair electrons are there. It will be say given by this bond order calculation. Okay, so let us see what is the formula for bond order. Half into number of bonding electrons. How many bonding electrons are there? See here, 2 plus 2 4, and here also these are also bonding, 2 plus 2 4 plus 2 6 plus 2 8, plus how many anti-bonding electrons? 2, we should do minus, no, subtract, number of bonding minus anti-bonding. Next number of anti-bonding electrons are how many? So 2 plus 2 4, that's it, 4. So after doing this we are getting 4 by 2, it is 2. So what is the bond order we got? In C2 molecule also it is 2. So between two carbon atoms, how many bonds are there? 2 bonds are there in C2 molecule according to molecular orbital theory. Now here you should need to identify what is the nature or what type of bonds these are. See here, for respect to bonding there is anti-bonding. So means bonding electrons, anti-bonding electrons are cancelled out. Let us consider like this. Here also for bonding, anti-bonding is cancelled out. So we are remaining with only bonding electrons which are in pi bond, which are in pi orbitals. So which means what is the nature of these bonds? These two bonds are pi bonds only. These two are pi bonds only. So generally what we know, if there are multiple bonds, we generally consider it as one is sigma bond and one is pi bond. But here, since the 4 electrons here, whatever the extra, like all last 4 electrons are there, after cancelling these for our understanding, here these complete 4 electrons are in pi bonding molecular orbitals only. It means the respective bonds which are resulting should be called as pi bonds only. Okay, so there is a question that frequently asked question on this topic, like what only pi bonds are present in which of the following molecule. Like that they will give with the 4 options. I will show you the question also. Okay, in different exams, whatever the exams for this 12th standard competitive exams, that question is a common one. Okay, and what is the magnetic nature? See, all the electrons are paired, there is no unpaired electrons, right? It means this is magnetic nature is diamagnetic. You should say if there is no unpaired electrons, n equals to 0, then mu will be also 0, because what is the formula for mu? Magnetic moment formula, root over n into n plus 2. So n value 0, then which gives mu value also 0. So what is the magnetic nature? You should say it as diamagnetic. Okay, I think this is also clear. Okay, the next, so what are the applications I told you? Finding bond order, and explaining about magnetic nature, and this also gives about stability. So what exactly stability I will show you now. Okay, now relative bond length and bond strength and existence of a molecule, whether a molecule will exist or not, those things also comes from this molecular orbital theory. So what is this, like how can I relate this bond order with stability and with relative bond length? Let us conclude here itself, then we can do our questions very happily. Okay, so now first calculate bond order. What I am saying, first calculate bond order using the formula half into number of bonding minus antibonding. See, once again I am explaining completely whatever I am discussing till now, that is completely concept. Now once after discussing this, while solving the question, I will be giving you some tricks also. So what happens in the exam is, so sometimes we may forget the tricks but not the concept. So first of all you should be clear with the concept, then you can go for the tricks. Okay, so let us first go with the like general method by using the concept, then we can use the tricks. So with the tricks you can solve like within the seconds. Okay, first find the bond order. How do we find the bond order? Bond order formula is half into number of bonding molecular orbital electrons minus number of anti-bonding molecular electrons. That is how we will use and we will calculate the formula answer, right? That is the one thing which we have did for the last two questions. Now after finding bond order, so this bond order, so higher the bond order, higher the bond order, what is the like importance of bond order I am saying? Higher the bond order, more is the stability, stability of a molecule. So bond order, higher the bond order, higher will be the stability. Okay, now so I can write bond order directly proportional to stability, or stability directly proportional to bond order. So you can consider this as per the molecular orbital theory. Now one more thing here, see, more is the bond order, greater, so lower the bond length. So why lower the bond length? Let us see. See, for example, here I have an atom and this is a second atom. Between these two atoms we have a bond order of 1. Let us say only one bond is there between two atoms. Now it will be like this. Now let us say one more orbital is overlapping from the two atomic orbitals and they are resulting to form a molecular orbital like this, and which is nothing but a orbital, like a bond. Okay, see, now when this is also like tied up, I can say this is also forming a bond. Now see, number of bonds are increasing, it means the linkages between this atom is increasing. It means the strength of this particular molecule will be increasing, right? So higher the bond order. Now what is the bond order? It is 2. If one more bond is also made, it will be 3. Now what happened? The strength of the bond will increases, because as number of bonds increases, this will be strongly held together, right? Therefore its bond strength and bond strength increases. Now see, initially it is like this. Now when they are coming to form one more new bond, see, atoms are coming closer because number of bonds are increasing, which holds them together very closely, right? So bond length decreases. So what I can say, bond order inversely proportional to bond length and bond order directly proportional to bond strength. You can make a statement like this. This is bond strength, this is bond length, this is bond order. Okay, now I hope I have given everything related to these applications which I have written. Okay, let us see some questions here. So this question, like based on O2 minus, O2 plus, O2 2 minus, this is a like a general question you will be seeing everywhere in any exam, like in different manners. Let us say here O2 plus, O2 minus, I have O2 2 minus we have. So how, like, let us I just wanted to ask you that what is the bond order of these molecules. If they ask like this, see what we have to do. See, we have calculated for O2 molecule now previously, just now before coming to these questions we have did for O2 molecule. So you just open that page, whatever you have written in your notes, just open that and just see here O2, what is the bond order we got. For this we got, how much we got, this we got bond order as 2, right, by calculating. So now let us generalize this now. So without wasting time, let us use some tricks here to solve this question. Okay, all these are not working here. Okay, so bond order we need to calculate here, right? So in order to use this trick, let me generalize this with a little more explanation so that you will feel very comfortable. See, first write this energy level orbitals like sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s. Listen here very carefully, it will be very helpful for you. Sigma star 2s. Next, what we have? Sigma 2pz. Next, sigma star, sorry, what we have? Pi 2px equals to pi 2p y. Next, sigma star 2pz. Okay, this is what we have written previously. Now if this is valid when total electrons are more than 14, right? See, oxygen O2 means it is how many electrons in O2 molecule? How many electrons are there in O2 molecule? So it will be having how many electrons? 16 electrons, right? Okay, so 16 means this order only we need to follow. So O2 minus, see, O2 minus means how many electrons? See, always remember, in chemistry if there is minus symbol, it means we are added some electrons to that. It means this is neutral one, O2 molecule. By adding one electron it will become O2 minus. It means we added one electron. 16 become 17 here. 17 electron. See, here we are writing it as O2 plus. It means from the neutral molecule like oxygen molecule O2, we have removed one electron. Therefore, it is getting positive charge. We can write it as 16 minus 1. It is 15 electrons. I hope this is also clear. Now here I have represented it as O2 2 minus. What does it mean? So if it is minus 1, 17. Minus 2 means it should be 18 electrons. I hope this is clear how to find number of electrons, right? Now if total electron count, electrons are 14 electrons are there. Totally how many electrons I am saying? 14 electrons are there. Just fill here 14 electrons first. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 over, right? 14 electrons are there. Just find the bond order. So how do we find bond order? Number of bonding minus anti-bonding. Then what will be half into number of bonding minus anti-bonding. Then we will be getting how much? See, 2 cancel. We will be getting bond order as, if total electrons are 14 electrons are there, then bond order will be how much? Means it is 3.0. How much we got? 3.0. So this is the general like generalized version. It will not applicable in all the cases. There may be some exceptions. I will give that exception also, but this will be generalized and it will be useful in most of the questions. Okay, you can use this. Okay, now if it is 15 electrons are there, if total electron count is 15 like this, so what we can do is you just decrease it by half, like it, make it 2.5. Bond order is 3.0, 2.5. If it is 16 electrons, again decrease it to by half. It means make it 2.0. If it is 17 electrons, make it 1.5. If it is 18 electrons, make it 1.0, like this. Okay. Now similarly, if it is 19, 0.5. If it is 20, 0. Okay. Similarly here, if the total electron count is if the total electron count is less than 14, I mean let us say 13 electrons are there, again make it 2.5. okay, just make keep it in a box. Let us discuss, there is an exception with this. okay, I will explain that. okay, next if we have 12 electrons, it will be 2.0. if it is 11 electrons, again it will be 1.5. like that you should follow. Now what they are asking us, decreasing order of stability they are asking. Just I told you, more the bond order, more will be the stability. So now just use this table and tell me which is having higher bond order. So 15 electrons will be having 2.5. Therefore which is more stable? This is the lowest electron, it means according to this, so it will be having more stability, O2 plus. Then what next? O2, then next is O2 minus, then next O2 2 minus. This is how you should calculate. I hope you got how to calculate or how to arrange them in the increasing or decreasing order of their bond order. So we know bond order is directly proportional to bond strength, I told you, and also what I told you, directly proportional to stability also. But if they ask about bond length, what we need to do? If they ask about bond length, we know bond length is inversely proportional to bond order. Then you can arrange this in the reverse manner, like O2 minus, O2 2 minus first, then O2 minus, then next O2, then make it O2 plus. This is valid for bond length. This order is for bond length. I hope this is clear how to calculate this. Now if they ask for magnetic nature, what we need to do? So for O2 molecule we have seen there are two unpaired electrons in the anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? So now if it is becoming 15 electrons like O2 plus, we have removed only one unpaired electron, it means it has one more unpaired electron. So it is also what I can say, paramagnetic, right? But is less paramagnetic than O2, normal O2 molecule, right? Now when it is becoming O2 minus, so 16 plus 1, it means out of the two unpaired electrons we are adding one more. It means one electron is pairing up, therefore one more is remaining, that is also paramagnetic. Now when it comes to O2 2 minus, so O2 2 minus, like it is having 18 electrons now, all the orbitals which we used are completely filled, therefore it is diamagnetic. Out of these four options which is diamagnetic, only O2 2 minus is diamagnetic. So this is how when you are practicing the questions, you just complete all the interlinked topics, like apply all the applications which we have studied about molecular orbital theory, then your concept will be very clear. Okay, if you have any questions you can ask me. So now based on that, tell me elements which like compounds which are having, species which are having same bond order. So just find total number of electrons. How many electrons are there in O2? 16 are there. So here we have 7 plus 7, it will be 14 electrons are there, because here it is plus, it means nitrogen is 7 electrons, oxygen means 8 electrons, but what is the charge it is having? Plus 1, it means you should remove one electron. So total how many electrons? Here 15 minus 1, so 14 electrons you should say. Okay, so like that you have to calculate. So for like 16 electrons bond order is how much I told you? It is 2. For 14 electrons bond order is 3. We have did that. Then next here the second option, here carbon plus nitrogen, how many electrons? 6 plus 14, 6 plus 7 plus 1, it means how many are there? 6 plus 7 plus 1, this is 14 electrons. And what about CO? 6 plus 8, this is also 14 electrons. So same electrons are there, 14 and 14 here and there. So it means option 2 will be correct, because same number of electrons, same bond order, as we seen further using the trick. So you can opt for option number 2, that is also correct. Let us check for 3 and 4 also. So this is having 14 electrons and this is having 17 electrons, which means it will be how much? 14 electrons bond order is 3, 17 electrons bond order is how much? Just decrease by half. How much it will be? 15 means 2.5, 16 means 2, 17 means 1.5, which is not correct. Okay, and what about this? CO means 4, CO means bond order is 3, and NO means bond order is how much? just calculate 7 plus 8, 13 electrons, 7 plus 8, 15 electrons are there. 15 means it is 2.5. So this is also not correct. So which is having same bond order? So only option 2 is correct. I hope this is also clear. So about this question we have discussed in the last class. You can go and check for the lecture number 2, chemical bonding. Okay. Then next for this question you can check for the question lecture number 1, chemical bonding by me only. Okay. So then next, here consider following species. So they have given this species. So which is having highest bond order? Just calculate total number of electrons and make the answer. So just calculate here how many electrons are there. Cn plus means. So Cn plus means 6 plus 7 minus 1. So it is 12 electrons, right? So 12 means what is the bond order we can expect? 3, 2.5 and 2.0. So it will be 2.0. And for Cn minus, you can, we already did here, it is 3. And what about this? NO means how much? We did here, it is 2.5. Cn means how much it is? Cn means 13 electrons. 13 electrons, it is also 2.5. So the species, just consider here, it is having Cn means 2.0, Cn minus means 14. So it is having maximum bond order of 3. Therefore option number 2 is correct. I hope this is also clear. I may be moving little faster because already I have given tricks. So use the trick and apply here, you will get the answer. See, I explained this question and I told you that I will show you the question that what type of questions they may ask. According to MO theory, the molecule which contains only pi bonds between the atoms is. So only pi bonds means this is the only option, I mean this is the option you can go for because it is having 2 pi bonds now. 2 pi bonds are there. So similarly you can check for this one and also this one and also for this one. You just tell me whether B2 molecules is having what type of bond and what is the magnetic nature for B2 also. Okay, in the comment box you can say. So the same question they may ask, which are the following, WOF means which are the following has or which are the following is or magnetic. This for the same options I am giving you this question. Take the question number as 1. Let us number it as 1 and tell me the answer for this question number 1 in the comment box. Okay. Then next, from the following identify the ions with the same bond order. So you can just apply what we need to do. Calculate total number of electrons. If the total number of electrons are same, then choose that option. Okay. So I think you can do this. Now tell me, number of molecules having bond order 2 from the following is. See, for this bond order is 2, we did already 12 electrons means. So for this bond order is like total 16 electrons are there. So therefore bond order is 2 for, if the total electrons, for example, I have told you up to 11 electrons now. Let us go from 1 electron. If I have 1 electron, so what is the bond order formula? Half into number of bonding electrons minus anti-bonding ABMO electrons now. So now sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, like this we are writing now. So let us say the next what we have, pi 2py equals to pi 2pz if the electrons are less than 14. We are following this order now. So now if the electrons are less than 10, I mean from 1 to 10 let us say, because from 11 to 18 or 11 to 20 I discussed. Now here you can consider the trick box for 1 electron to 10 electrons. See, if I have only 1 electron, that should be in the bonding now. So bond order will be how much? Half. So if we have 1 electron, total electrons, let us make the trick box here. Make the trick box here. Total number of electrons. Total number of electrons are 1. Then what is the bond order we can expect? It will be half. You can just write bond order will be half, 0.5. If total electrons are 2, bond order will be 1. If total electrons are 3, bond order will be how much? Bond order will be how much? Let's check here. So the third electron will go into anti-bonding. So whenever you are filling the electron in anti-bonding, what happens to the bond order? Bond order will decrease, because anti-bonding is you are subtracting from bonding now. So it means number will be decreased. therefore it will again become 0.5. So it will be 0.5. Now if we have 4 electrons, it will be, so again you are filling in anti-bonding only, then it will become 0. If we have 5 electrons, what happens again, where you are filling this fifth electron, you are filling this fifth electron is, see here, here over up to 4, here fifth electron is going for bonding. So again it is going to 2s sigma bond now. So it means you are getting what? 0.5. The sixth electron is also going to the bonding, then it will be 1, and the seventh electron will be going into anti-bonding, therefore it is 0.5, and eighth electron also going into anti-bonding, therefore eighth one will becomes 0 and bond order will be 0. If ninth electron is there, you will be getting 0.5. If 10th electron is there, 10 electrons are there, you will be getting 1. If 11th electron is there, you will be getting 1.5. If 12 electrons are there, you will be getting 2.0. Like this we can do. Okay, this is about the applications, I mean trick box. So here 12 electrons are there. What is the bond order? It will be 2. 16 electrons are there. In the last bond order trick box I told you that will be 2. For 4 electrons, beryllium atomic number is how much? Atomic number is 4. Beryllium molecule means you should take 2 atoms. It means beryllium plus beryllium, 8 electrons. 4 plus 4, 8. So 8 electrons, which means bond order is 0. And for this molecule, lithium means atomic number 3 twice, it means 6. So bond order is 1. So neon, so total electrons are 20, it means molecule. So it means bond order will be 0. For N2 molecule it is 3. For helium it will be, helium molecule means 4 electrons, it will be 0. Like that you have to check. Now tell me how many are with bond order 2? Only first 2 options. So answer will be 2. I hope this is also clear how to do the question. So I told you there is one exception with the 13 electrons. That 13 electrons when we have, for example, CO molecule is there, CO plus molecule is there. So for this particular one, total electrons are 13. So generally when in the trick box I told you if 13 electrons are there, bond order will be 2.5. But for this one, when it is having 13 electrons, the bond order will be 3.5 only for CO plus. You just remember this. Okay. Oh, okay. Because of there is electronegativity difference between carbon and oxygen, both are heteroatoms. Therefore, I mean not homodiatomic, it is heterodiatomic. Therefore, due to the electronegativity difference, the orbital energies varies, and we are getting finally we are getting the energy order of molecules, molecular orbitals like this. And see here, what is the energy orbital? Like energy orbital we can represent sigma 1s respect to sigma star, then next sigma 2s, and respect to anti-bonding is not written here, it should be at the highest energy here after writing bonding, like after writing pi bonds and sigma bond you can write anti-bonding, that is what sigma star 2s1. Therefore if you count the number of bonding minus anti-bonding, we will be getting 3.5, and magnetic nature will be, since here we have one unpaired electron in sigma star 2s1, we will be getting paramagnetic nature. I hope this is also clear. Okay. Okay. So this is about complete concept behind the molecular orbital theory. I hope you enjoyed the session very nicely, and if you have any doubts regarding this particular concept, you can tell me in the comment section, or you can directly contact us to the provided mobile number, and you can join our crash course which we are going to start on 24th March for EAP set and also for NEET, for this upcoming NEET exam. Okay, so thank you for watching. Happy learning.